idea of monoprints, linocut prints, block prints were sparked by this stamp making kit I got earlier this year. Originally as a fun activity with my nieces, I found it so satisfying to carve away at the rubber, and so I started looking into making larger stamps, which basically became prints. So let's get started. Here's what you need, or at least what I thought I needed. More on that later. Step 1. Draw out the design. Most of this video has been sped up anywhere from 5 to 10 times the speed, but for this part, I wanted to show you how long it actually took me just to draw the snail. I find sketching the most daunting part of the process because it means reconciling with whether or not my hands are skilled enough to create the image that is in my head and whether or not they match. Here I'm using a super light pencil because I'm hesitant and didn't want to smudge up the paper. I decided I would do this and then trace over it with a carbon pencil afterwards. And here we are with mistake number 1. The pencil was too light, that it didn't transfer. So I've redone it. This time it's sped up with a good old 2B pencil. Now that the drawing has been traced, it's time to carve away. Here I am trying to figure out whether to carve everything but the spiral or carve out just the spiral. For this harder piece of linoleum, I want to use it to create the embossed effect on the final piece, so it required me to really think about it. I've sped this up 10 times, but I've included a few minutes of real time just so you can see the process of this. It's a bit like peeling an apple, which can be so satisfying when you get it all in one go, but sometimes I just get frustrated and chip away at it. If you're bored of this, you can skip ahead a minute or so. While I'm carving away, I thought it would be a good idea to explain what a monoprint is. Basically, a monoprint is exactly as it sounds, a singular print that is one of a kind. It's different from an original painting because it uses printmaking techniques, such as creating a template with linocut. The idea is you can make multiple prints with this template via a manual process, but each one will be slightly different. And here we are with mistake number 2. As much as I tried to think about it, I still messed it up. You saw me humming and hawing, and well, I should have carved just the spiral in order to get the embossed effect I wanted, because the idea is the paper will be pushed into everything around the spiral, which then creates that embossed effect, rather than what I did do, which was carve everything around the spiral, in which case the spiral would be debossed because the paper would be pushed into the spiral shape. Next step is to do the rest of the snail. I wanted the snail shell to be a different color from the snail body and possibly a different color from the spiral. Here we are with mistake number 3. I thought that I could cut out the snail body like I did with the shell, but it ended up being jagged and awkward, so back to the apple peeling. So now we have all of our pieces. I was able to save the first lino, which took me forever to use as the shell outline later. And on we go to embossing. This is totally a hack job because I wasn't sure if I wanted to fully commit to making my own prints. Usually you would see a way sturdier printing plate and setup, but for now, I saw online that this was a good little cost-effective intro device. It's not actually made for making prints, but it works. You're basically creating a sandwich that smushes the paper into the grooves of the linoleum. It's a little bit of trial and effort just to figure out how thick to make the sandwich, but here we are. She is beautiful. Now to make the colored pieces. I start by using my favorite type of paint, which is an acrylic gouache. I'm not too sure if this will work. I know I said this is my first monoprint, and it is my first official one available to the public, but I've played around with this process a few times this year, and I've never used this type of paint before. And another mistake. The camera can't even pick up the pigment, but you can see that the paint has already started to dry a bit on the glass, which is a bad sign because it means it can't transfer to the paper properly. So I decided to try regular gouache, which doesn't have that acrylic tendency to dry quickly. And another mistake. So this one isn't working too well either. As you'll see soon, it actually ends up being kind of cracked and weird looking, just a little bit too faint for what I want. I decided to paint it on, and well, it definitely has a solid block of color. I'm not too sold on it though. I was hoping to create an effect like this little Highland cow that I made back in February. I just like how you can see the texture of the brushstrokes, but this wasn't painted on the paper, it is a monoprint. And here's another mistake, because I knew I didn't like how the last little print turned out, but I didn't trust my gut instinct, and I still tried it on my final piece. And here's me trying to fix it. Okay, I finally caved and went with the oil paints, which is what I used for the Highland cow. The solvent of choice is linseed oil, which freaks me out a bit because it's highly combustible. Apparently, if you just leave a rag with linseed oil, it can catch on fire on its own. I think that fear plus the long drying time is what deterred me. Oil paints can take days to weeks to dry depending on the humidity and the temperature. Here, I wouldn't say this is a full-on mistake, I just used too much solvent, so it's a bit too diluted and the color didn't transfer. And then it was a bit too clumpy and stamp-like. So third time is a charm. I decided to paint it on and love how the brushstrokes show up. So now let's put it all together. I embossed another piece of paper off screen and we are ready to move ahead with the oil paints. I love the texture of this compared to the blobby block that came about from the gouache. Okay, so I've slowed down this last little bit for the reveal. Also to show you how slow I go sometimes, especially when I'm hesitant or the stakes feel high. Here is me painstakingly trying to figure out how I can match the last layer, the color of the spiral, with the embossed spiral and the shell color. I'm definitely a bit nervous and I'm just looking at the shape of the circle to try and line it up. And the reveal, I love it. I actually don't even need that last stamp, the one I spent so long on, because the embossed texture automatically shows up and creates a spiral. Of course, I should have realized this. Anyway, I wanted to show all of the duds, so here's the gouache painted directly onto the snail body. And then here are the 3 gouache mistakes, including the super faint acrylic gouache in the middle. Now it's time to add the final details. I also kept this at normal speed to show you how long doing the face takes. It always makes me nervous because the face determines how cute something is, and it's also the last step, so you've put in so much work to maybe mess it up. Anyway, this snail's a cutie and I've decided to name it Scout. I wanted to add some cut paper as the final touch to further expand on the textures, so its cheeks are pink washi paper. Cute little side note, my nieces and I draw a lot together, and now they've kind of caught my habit of drawing cheeks and everything, so all of their people and characters have little cheeks. It's pretty sweet. And with that, Scout the Snail is done. This is the official mascot for my new Patreon page, which I'm so excited to reveal. I'll drop the link in the captions and you can catch me over there on Instagram or check out my website. Thanks for watching and let me know what else you'd like to see.